Thank you very much. Welcome, bienvenue. We are very, very proud, very pleased to be here at Toronto Police Headquarters to kick off what is the Provincial Crime Prevention Week. All of our police services in this province, federal, provincial, municipal, regional, and Indigenous, are this week focusing on making Ontario the very safest, the very best place for people to work, live, and raise their loved ones. And so today we have a number of speakers who are going to be talking about Crime Prevention Week, the importance of safe communities. And it gives me great pleasure to call up first our first speaker, the Solicitor General of Ontario, the MPP for York Centre. He's been a Solicitor General only about a year, and he's already made such a tremendous impact on community safety and our police organizations. So it's a great pleasure that I call up the Honourable Michael Kerzner.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be here with the OACP and the Chief of Police from Toronto, Myron Demkiw. Distinguished guests, everyone plays a role in public safety. Everyone can do just a little bit more to keep Ontario safe. C'est un grand honneur pour moi d'être ici avec vous aujourd'hui. Bonjour tout le monde. And it's my honor to be here alongside the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police, the OACP, to launch Crime Prevention Week. This week is especially important to our government. Public safety and a safe Ontario are extremely important to myself, to our government, and especially Premier Ford. And I think people recognize how seriously we take it. This year's theme is awareness, engagement, and prevention. And it presents a unique opportunity to showcase the efforts of police across the province and raise continued awareness to keep Ontario safe. And I can assure you that this week and every week, I will be out there spreading the word about just how important public safety is. And I've said this before, it doesn't matter where we all came from or how we got here to Ontario. It matters what we do to build the best Ontario we can. And as I've said also before, we have an inherent right to live safely in our own homes and communities. We have a right to wake up our loved ones in the morning and take our kids to school. We have a right to go to work safely. We have a right to shop and to pray and to live our lives in a community that we're so proud of. And when we look at the three pillars of what the themes are this year, it ties directly into public safety for our greater province. Awareness. Awareness is important because it allows everyone in Ontario to have a role, to be vigilant, to keep your eyes open. And this is very important. We also need to engage. We need to engage everyone in the room today who are advocates for public safety. And we have to be very grateful for everyone that keeps Ontario safe. It's something that I cherish, and it's an honor and a privilege for me to travel the province just to say thank you to those that keep us safe. And lastly, prevention. Prevention is important because when you have communities that are aware and engage with law enforcement, then they have the relationship to keep Ontario safe because they engage with those who keep our province safe. And trust and working together is how we're going to do it. Rien pour moi, en tant que Solicitor General, n'est plus important que la sécurité de notre province. And every day we are committed to developing local solutions to prevent local crime. And this year alone, we've announced that we're investing over $370 million through various grant programs to enhance the safety and well-being of Ontario's communities. And this includes the Mobile Crisis Response Team grant as an example of $4.5 million, and the Victim Support grant of $4 million. And of course, we also have the $51 million in unprecedented investment to fight auto theft. Not only do these investments help police services acquire new technologies, but they also work to expand mental health supports, enhancing crime prevention and awareness. Awareness, engagement, and prevention are absolute and constant reminders that we must do our part to remain vigilant, to prevent crimes, to keep our communities safe. And in conclusion, as we proceed into Crime Prevention Week, I know our first responders everywhere will respond to situations that occur daily. And I want to encourage everyone throughout our province to take these themes to heart. And I'll leave you with this. For myself, for our Premier and our entire government, we will always have the backs of everyone that keeps our province safe. We are eternally grateful. Thank you, merci beaucoup, and miigwech.
Thank you very much, Minister, for your remarks, and thank you to all of your parliamentary colleagues for your support for our police organizations and our community. Our next speaker is Mr. Jeff McGuire. Mr. McGuire is the Executive Director of the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police. He has, well, he's no stranger to Toronto Police Service, of course, having started here and worked many years here before becoming the Chief of Niagara Regional Police, and now as the Executive Director of the OACP. I invite him to make a few remarks.
Thanks very much, Joe, and Minister Kerzner, thank you so much for your kind remarks. Fortunately, in our business, we get to hear them often, but there's always an addition and always the incredible support from the provincial government in regards to law enforcement that comes to us through you, so thank you kindly. Joe, thanks. I'm pleased to be here on behalf of Ontario's police leaders. Members of the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police are proud to provide leadership and support to our frontline officers, civilian members, special constables, and auxiliary officers who work hard to keep all communities safe, including those members, as we heard from our members of our Indigenous policing services across the province and the country who we work very closely with. Particularly happy to be here today, as you heard, which is basically kind of my alma mater of my policing career, and happy to be here with my colleague and friend who we'll hear from, Chief Myron Demkiw. Chief Demkiw brings his passion for safe communities to our Board of Directors as a member of our Board of Directors. As I indicated earlier, thank you so much to Ontario Solicitor General, the Honourable Michael Kerzner, for being here. True champion of an advocate for safe communities, especially when it comes to ensuring all communities and community members feel valued and safe everywhere in our province. You'll often hear police professionals speak about that when it comes to crime, we'd far rather prevent a crime than deal with the consequences of that crime. Our police officers on the front line and professionals are dedicated to keeping all of our communities safe. And I think it's fair to say that in these troubling times that we're facing, not just here in Ontario, but across the country and in fact the globe, that our province depends on police services to be especially sensitive to crime trends and matters that are causing them to feel unsafe in their communities. I will indicate that on the Ontario Association of Police Chiefs, Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police website, oacp.ca, there is a resource document available there for the public to access in regard to hate crime. If you are seeing things, please take a look. If you're not certain as to where it might fit, I think that guide will be very helpful in assisting you in reaching out to your local police service. Whether people's sense of safety is based on real data or what people either see on the news or feel in their communities when they go out to walk their dogs or pick their children up at school, doesn't really matter how that feeling comes about. The perceived presence of criminal incidents makes Ontarians worry about their safety. Crime Prevention Week in Ontario is an important opportunity for our police professionals to get out into their communities and interact with the people that they serve. We want to show Ontarians how police are working hard to address crime when it occurs, and more importantly, as the theme of today is, what they're doing to make sure criminal activities are prevented before they occur. Throughout the week, members of police services right across this province, and in fact, as Joe said, this is also a federal initiative, and including our Indigenous Police Service, will be showcasing crime prevention strategies and programs and partnerships that they've developed with their communities, all designed to make your communities feel safer and be places to live, work, and play, and raise your family. The theme for the week, as was indicated already, is awareness, engagement, and prevention. All three of these titles flow together and all really bear equal importance. But if you just take a look at each one of those words and identify yourself what that meaning brings to you in regards to crime prevention, we feel that it will help you connect with your police services. We're very proud to partner with the Government of Ontario to promote active collaboration between police services, government, community groups, and businesses across Ontario based on these important concepts. Police professionals in Ontario are always striving to be the best law enforcement professionals that they can be, to work hard and diligently to earn the trust and active partnerships with our communities, and to let every single person in this province know that they matter, that they have value, and that they deserve to feel safe in their homes and when they're out in their communities. This week will be an opportunity to both celebrate and recommit to our resolve and determination to make everyone in this province feel safe. I want to again thank Chief Demkiw and the women and men of the Toronto Police Service and all police professionals and police members, civilian and sworn alike, right across Ontario in every corner of this province for the work they do. Having been a police professional for more than 45 years, I know that every member swears their oath of office and serves their community because they know it matters and they want to make a difference. So I say thank you to all those police professionals out there, civilian and sworn, who go to work every single day with the knowledge that while often their work is difficult, it is also worth every effort they put into it, because we know police are working diligently daily towards safer and healthier communities across our great province. Thank you again. Merci beaucoup. Miigwech. Stay safe. And my Toronto colleagues will know that I close every one of my speaking events with have a little fun every day. And I think you can weave that into the crime prevention process as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Jeff, for your comments. We know that community policing, crime prevention doesn't just occur because of what police do. We work very closely with governance bodies like our police services boards to support the women and men of our police organizations. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker. One of the things that the board here is very committed to, I know, is supporting our chief in what they do for the community, making people feel safe. So I'm very proud to welcome to the podium the Vice Chair of the Toronto Police Service Board, Ms. Lisa Kostakis.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Michael Kerzner, always a pleasure to see you and a huge supporter. Chief Demkiw, Mr. Jeff McGuire, Ms. Carly Kalish, honored guests and members of the Toronto Police Service and members of our community. On behalf of the Toronto Police Services Board, I want to welcome all of you as we kick off our 2023 Crime Prevention Week. As you all know, Crime Prevention Week is time dedicated to enabling police services to promote the benefits of a collaborative response to local community safety issues, and to educating members of the public about what they can do to stay informed and support community safety initiatives. It is an important opportunity for people to come together to talk about and to take part in crime prevention in their communities. There is no doubt that crime prevention is fundamental to building safe communities, but crime prevention cannot be left to the police alone, as was also mentioned before. Communities and neighborhoods also have a valuable role in this endeavor. They are and must be a vital partner and a respected voice in our efforts to build safety and healthy communities. This year's themes, as was mentioned, the awareness, engagement, and prevention, underscores the importance of sharing information, building partnerships between the police and the public, and focusing on crime prevention approaches in order to make Toronto a safer city in which to live and play. We recognize that making crime prevention a priority is very much a shared responsibility. Indeed, we continue to emphasize the importance of collaboration, including the need to consistently listen and consider the best interests of our communities, to support service members to be the best partners, advisors, and champions on working with neighborhoods, and to work collaboratively in partnership with others to develop sustainable solutions. The board is extremely proud of the Toronto Police Service and the many excellent initiatives it has led based on this important approach. One of the best examples of this approach can be found, and I firsthand, as a social worker for the past 36 years in our city and in being serving our communities, the focus tables, which is furthering our communities by uniting services, and I was very honored to be part of that initial initiative and the effectiveness of it, which is an innovative, collaborative, risk-driven approach to community safety and well-being, co-led by the City of Toronto, United Way Greater Toronto, and the Toronto Police Service, that aims to reduce risk, harm, crime, victimization, and improve community resiliency and well-being. The model brings together a diverse ensemble of community agencies at a weekly situation table to provide an intentional, wraparound approach to the most vulnerable individuals, families, and places that are experiencing or exposed to heightened levels of risk factors. This also includes the Mobile Crisis Intervention Teams, or MCIT, which pairs a specially trained police officer with mental health nurse to provide people in crisis with a compassionate, collaborative response which connects people to the relevant and appropriate community and follow-up resources and services. We see this approach, too, in our collaboration with the Gernstein Crisis Center, which co-locates crisis workers in the 911 communications to assist in the diversion of non-emergent mental health-related calls away from a police response. And we see this in our partnerships with the City of Toronto through the Toronto Community Crisis Service, which is now being recommended to expand citywide by the end of 2024 and become the 4th municipal emergency service. The successful alternative response to support non-mental health crisis calls and wellness checks is community-based, client-centered, and trauma-informed. Through examples such as these and so many more, we have seen that together we can develop action-based strategies and meaningful initiatives that are powerful, multifaceted, and responsive to the changing and specific needs of our community individuals and our community as a whole. Together, we can create safer and stronger communities. We must routinely employ the collaboration approach that we have developed in Toronto, through which the police and the community are engaged with each other to ensure that our communities and neighborhoods are safe, healthy, and nurturing environments for all Torontonians. This approach has made us a leader worldwide. We must build on this, and we constantly strive for excellence. As we embark upon this year's Crime Prevention Week, I invite all of us, members of the public, young people, and members of the police service, community organizations, and government alike, to work together to ensure that our communities continue to be safe, healthy, and nurturing. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank personally and on behalf of the board, everyone who is responsible, and like was said before, we are all responsible for the safety individually, for our individual safety and well-being, but also our community, because every one of our actions impacts everybody else as well, not just ourselves. And thank you for all of the support from the OACP. The minister has been a champion of well-being and safety in this province, this government. Our chief and his leadership is exemplary. There's compassion, there's respect, and our officers, our civilians and sworn, should all stand proud of what they do in our communities and for our city and for our safety. And thank you to our media as well, because when we talk about awareness and messaging, you are an integral part of what messaging looks like also for our community of everyone, and not just in our city, but in Ontario and in our country and throughout the world. And thank you for supporting us in getting these messages out, because you are integral, and taking the time, because being safe physically is also different than feeling safe. and it makes a big difference of what you put out there as well. So thank you for that and your support. Thank you to everybody. And my little line of always leaving is that I pray for everyone, wherever you work, wherever you play, wherever you pray, that you always get home safe to your loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for your remarks. During Crime Prevention Week, we always must remember that when there's a crime, there's a victim. And so all our police services work very closely with organizations that support victims of crime. So I'm very pleased to introduce the Executive Director of Victim Services Toronto, Ms. Carly Kalish, as our next speaker.
Good morning. It's hard to grasp the depth of heartache, depravity, and tragedy that goes on in our city every day based on what makes the headlines. Victim Services Toronto helps people in the immediate aftermath of crime and sudden tragedy. We go to the scene of the crime. We hold the hands of survivors. We help people rebuild their lives. We operate 24 hours a day. In the course of our regular lives, whenever we experience something that causes us distress, we tend to turn to trusted people for support, validation, and comfort. We do this because healing happens in relationships, in healthy, supportive relationships. When there's nobody there to support victims, or when their natural support systems are themselves traumatized, Victim Services is there. The work of Victim Services, in partnership with Toronto Police Services and all the other amazing community agencies that support survivors, together find replacement ways to meet the needs of our clients. One agency can't possibly do this alone. We are a team, a network, a collaborative. We all play a role like puzzle pieces. Together, we help victims rebuild their lives. For over 30 years, Victim Services Toronto has worked tirelessly to support victims of crime. Countless crimes against innocent individuals, community crisis, and acts of violence that have taught us that a victim is not simply somebody else, but somebody we know and love. This is where prevention becomes crucial. We have partnerships with school boards across the city where we talk to young people about healthy relationships, about boundaries, consent, the antidote to gender-based violence. We also have supported the creation of Likely Story, a web-based game that's primary goal is gender-based violence prevention. Toronto Police Service has been instrumental in partnering with us to co-locate at a divisional level so we can provide immediate support to victims right in their neighborhoods. And the preliminary findings are very promising. Where TPS and Victim Services partner, there is a marked reduction in intimate partner violence. But there's more work to be done. What is needed is the echo of the collective voices of everyone in this room that stand up for our shared values of safety in our homes and peace in our communities. This requires the commitment of people like you listening today. Collaboration is the new competition, and we must support people together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carly, and thank you to your colleagues across the province who support our police services and, more importantly, the victims of crimes and their families. Our last speaker is the Chief of Police of Toronto Police Service. I think you're also coming up to your first anniversary here, aren't you? It seems like you've been here for a long time, Chief. That's the impact you've made. So very positive. Myron Demkiw is also a member of the board of the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police. We're very proud to have him as part of our leadership team. And so, Chief, I'd ask you to come and say your remarks.
Thank you, Joe. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. And I'd like to first start by acknowledging our speakers, the Solicitor General of Ontario, the Honourable Michael Kerzner, Executive Director of the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police, Mr. Jeff McGuire, the Vice Chair of the Toronto Police Service Board, Ms. Kostakis, Lisa Kostakis, Executive Director of Victim Services Toronto, Carly Kalish, who you just heard from, and deserves a bit of special recognition. They are truly a remarkable organization under her leadership, providing an incredible capacity for us to deliver on community safety and well-being in ways that we otherwise would not be able to do. This week, many of our service members will be engaging with community members, business owners, and BIAs with a special focus on several crime prevention initiatives. These include crime prevention through environmental design audits, or SEPTED audits, where they will provide homeowners and businesses with information on how to improve the safety and security of their homes and businesses. And clear zone installations, where they will install thick red tape in a square or rectangle to serve as a reminder to a store owner not to place obstructions in that area, to ensure that there is visibility into and out of their respective businesses. As you've heard, this year's Crime Prevention Week emphasizes collaboration, resiliency, awareness, engagement, and prevention. And in the spirit of collaboration, I want to highlight just a few of the many amazing initiatives and programs that our members are involved with, in collaboration with some incredible community partners. All of the ongoing initiatives are too numerous to list, so this morning I'll concentrate on a few of the initiatives, which are supported through our engagement with our partner agencies at focus situation tables. As many of you know, and you heard about a little bit this morning, Focus Toronto includes approximately 170 community agency partners. It is the largest police-partnered collaboration in North America and is a proven risk intervention program that intervenes in situations of acutely elevated risk. The Focus Toronto situation tables are a coordinated and comprehensive approach to complex challenges that support individuals and families by providing immediate connections to social service supports. Focus Toronto's multi-agency intervention provides individuals and families with the support they need to establish greater stability, while simultaneously aiming to prevent crime and victimization. As many of you know, one of our top priorities is supporting safer communities. This is why I'd like to highlight 3 of the many crime prevention initiatives that are having significant impact in our communities, thanks to the amazing work of our members and community partners. The first one is Project Engage 416, which is led by our Gang Prevention Task Force and actively supports gang prevention and gang exit strategies. The second one is the Military Veteran Wellness Program, an incredible program in which our members partner with federal agencies to better support veterans in crisis. And the third is our approach to preventing and countering violent extremism, a comprehensive program that helps redirect individuals away from criminality and extremist violence and helps them reconnect with their communities in pro-social and positive ways. These are just a few examples of how members of the Toronto Police Service have fully embraced a culture of risk intervention. And every day our members make referrals to our partner agencies. This collaborative approach is critical to the success of our crime prevention initiatives. Crime Prevention Week is always a great opportunity for us to highlight and concentrate on our crime prevention initiatives and partnerships. Partnerships that our members are committed to working on every single day. And on that note, I want to close my remarks with 2 very important thank yous. First, thank you to the residents of Toronto who make our city so great. You have repeatedly demonstrated to the world that it is possible to live in harmony in a diverse, inclusive, equitable, and pluralistic society. Thank you for continuing to do this. And thank you for your willingness to work with the members of the Toronto Police Service to help us prevent crime and improve the quality of life for everyone who lives, works, plays, and prays in our city. And last, but certainly not least, I want to thank each and every member of the Toronto Police Service. Thank you for the work you're doing to keep all of our communities safe. I know that we have asked a lot of you over the past few years, and in particular, over the past month. As always, you have risen to the challenge, and many of you have made personal sacrifices to ensure that we are able to prioritize the safety and well-being of our communities and our members. On behalf of the entire command team, I want you to know that it is a true honor to work with every single one of you. We truly appreciate you and everything you do for our city. And please, continue to look after yourselves and each other. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Chief. And that concludes our formal remarks. I would like to extend some thanks. I want to echo what Lisa said. I want to thank members of the media who did come today, who help us to deliver the crime prevention messages. And also, you keep us accountable. And I do want to thank you for that. You have such an important role in our democracy. I want to thank members of the Toronto Police Service, particularly my friends Stephanie and Wendy, who don't want any thanks, but they do so much to help us to get these types of messages out there. All our police services across Ontario will be spending this week doing this, trying to connect with our media partners, with our community and government partners, with our communities. And our message is one that we echo the whole year, which is crime prevention matters. Crime prevention should be part of our DNA in Ontario. And so that's really what we want to deliver here to the people of Ontario is, yes, we'll be focusing on crime prevention this week, but we're coming at you with that same crime prevention message every day. The women and men of our police services, they're so dedicated to partnering with you, to keeping you safe. And not only to respond to those unfortunate calls, but also to be there with you in sometimes your darkest hours. And we'll be there. We'll cry with you. We'll laugh with you when it's appropriate as well. So that brings our formal program to an end. At this time, I'll ask if there are any questions that members of the media would like to ask of any of our speakers before I close it.
Hi, I'm with CB24. Question for the Executive Director, the Chief. Any alarming new trends you think that the public should be aware of? I know we hear a lot about auto thefts. Anything new you think you could use this opportunity to shed light on?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. I think the most alarming trend is the incredible rise in incidents of hate crimes, anti-Semitism, anti-Islamophobia that we're seeing in the city. Very, very concerning. We have certainly committed an extensive amount of resources, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. We're going to do everything possible to hold those responsible accountable, and we'll continue to investigate each and every incident, and we encourage all members of the public, everybody across all communities, to please report every single incident that they see, no matter where they see it, when they see it. Please call us and report it. It is a significant issue of underreporting in hate crimes, and while we do see a spike, we know it is still underreported, so please report.
On that, I know there were a number of demonstrations this week, and there was an update from Toronto Police investigating complaints over hate speech. Where are you in that investigation? Have any charges been laid? We're
in preliminary stages, and we've committed to making sure we'll announce publicly if and when charges are laid.
Are you able to say how many complaints of hate speech your service received?
I won't put a number to that. We are investigating events from this weekend, though, in that regard.
Any credible threats, I know we've been in touch with you, updates on that. The command posts, I believe, are still up in certain areas of Toronto. Any updates on that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm very happy to clarify. The command posts do remain up in North York, and they will remain up for the foreseeable future. And I want to be very, very explicitly clear about this. We will stay there as long as it takes. We will be with their communities for as long as it takes to return the sense of safety and security that people deserve to have in our city. As it relates to credible threats, I can reassure members of the public that I remain connected to our federal, provincial, and GTA partners at the executive level. Our investigators are connected both within the GTA, but provincially and nationally as well. And we continue to monitor circumstances across the country and, in fact, worldwide. And we continue to advise that there's no credible threat to the City of Toronto at this time.
Two more questions. My last one, I was in touch with the York Regional Police last week. They said they'd seen a 15% increase in hate crimes compared to this time last year. Do you have any sort of number to share? Are you seeing an increase here in Toronto?
We're seeing I'd expect a higher number of increase. However, I've committed to reporting monthly at our Police Service Board meetings, and we'll be collecting our statistics and reporting publicly at our next Police Service Board meeting.
Chief, you thanked your officers in your remarks for sacrifices made over the last month. It's been obviously a number of large-scale demonstrations, and even predating this war, there's been a number of large-scale demonstrations. How sustainable is it in terms of policing and overtime to keep staffing these large-scale events?
That's a really good question. Let me start with the first part of your question is thanking our officers, and I'll do that again. Our police officers and our civilian professional members have risen to the challenge. Some are in the back of the room, and these are the true heroes working day in and day out to keep our city safe and facilitate the activities in our city in a safe way. So I cannot say enough about how amazing they are and how grateful we all are for what they do. As far as sustainability, we're looking at a number of options to sustain operations over the long term. We do expect that we'll be at this for a number of months, and we're preparing for that kind of business cycle. So we are presently, as a command, considering a number of options. That will be a redeployment and a realignment of resources, which we've already started doing in order to bolster our capacity as it relates to hate crime investigations, as well as day-to-day operations. And we're now looking at what the sustainable model would be, where we realign some of our resources and prioritize certain critical bits of police work that we must do each and every day in a meaningful way so that we can sustain it over time. But we're definitely in a place where we are going to have to realign our service delivery to ensure that the model is sustainable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. And with that, we conclude our media event. Again, thank you to the Toronto Police Service for hosting this, which is really the provincial kickoff. I want to thank Toronto Police also. They've printed out our theme in multiple languages, and I commend our police services for reaching out to everybody in their own language of choice. And we certainly will encourage others to do that. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to our frontline, our support staff who are out there, and all our police services. And be safe this week and every week. Thank you.